2005, I was elected president and business agent of ATU Local 1433. Before I ask you to join me in welcoming him, I just want you to know that he's one of the most dedicated, active presidents, and never, ever, ever backs off from any issue that helps his member. Please welcome Bob Bean.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, Treasurer, Mr. President, fellow delegates, brothers and sisters. I gaze around the convention hall today and I see signs that say, respect workers' rights. Thus, exactly what over 600 ATU Valley bus drivers are saying to Veolia Transportation Company. Respect workers' rights, respect our rights. But Veolia does not respect workers' rights, nor do they respect the roughly 75,000 Valley residents who would be affected by a mass transit strike. A strike that could be prevented if not for the greed of Veolia, Mark Joseph, and the rest of the French corporation. We've been in a struggle with Veolia for 15 months now. We've had 4 different Veolia negotiators. In August, they gave us their best and final offer. We took it back to the membership for a vote. The membership gave Veolia a strong message. 96% told them, shove your best and final contract up your ass. Our Phoenix bus drivers demand respect from Veolia Transportation. They deserve a fair contract like everybody in this room deserves a fair contract. Veolia doesn't look at it that way. I know that should a strike occur, the affiliates of the AZ AFL-CIO will be standing with us in solidarity. And at this time, it gives me great honor to introduce our International Vice President, Bill McLean, my local Vice President, Michael Cornelius, and the men and women of ATU Local 1433. Made a special trip down this morning from Reno, Nevada to speak today. Our IVP, Mr. Bill McLean.
Good afternoon, Arizona.
Good afternoon.
Before I begin, let me couch my remarks. I have no degree in medicine. I'm not able and qualified to diagnose diseases or disorders. However, based on my experience, I began among 11 contracts I'm working, happens to be this one here in Phoenix, started last September. They immediately reached an impasse by an employer who wanted an impasse, who wanted a strike, who who wanted to create dissent and disharmony. What the city didn't realize, and what the transit workers know, we have contracted VD.
That's to put it politely. Yeah.
Venereal disease? No.
The ocean.
Venereal disease. Venereal disease is a French corporate disease that has affected not only the riding public, the transit workers, the mayor. That's no longer a threesome.
Take your time.
It's a disease that's driven by intimidation and threats. It's a disease that thrives on hypocrisy. This particular disorder in Phoenix has at least 12 unfair labor practices that we filed against them. This group came in, and over the last year, the outfit wants to make a little bit of money. After 25 years, these employees have some sick leave on the books. That's a huge liability. And they don't want to pay it. 25 years of really exemplary employees. You can't collect $3.5 million worth of sick leave and not come to work. They did everything they were supposed to. They came to work. They did the job. And I said, well, why don't we keep the American tax dollars in this country instead of sending it to France as profits? We're not exporting jobs like everyone else was doing. We're exporting tax dollars. Your Phoenix City local state funds that are turned into profits, that are services not paid for, wages not paid for, healthcare not paid for, pension not paid for, turns into euros. I don't know what the rate of return is today, but it must be good because they're still in the business. They are bleeding these American workers. And that's what it's about. The more profit margin they meet, the bigger their bonus. That's how the guy at the top can make $2.2 million. It's outrageous. That's all we want, something to provide for our families, some education, some health care. It can't be provided if tax money goes to France and Britain, ourselves. So I hope you send a message to your local politicians, your council people. You don't want your American tax dollars to go to France. You want it for public services here, for your neighbors, or guys in your neighborhood, the guy that just lost his house. These transit workers aren't going to roll